notice that it's a rather grey, drizzly, miserable day here in Belfast today, and I've deliberately chosen that for a bit of poetic, pathetic fallacy when reviewing this latest slice of dull. Absolutely hideous. Is it any wonder the world's forgotten about these things? Ooh, look at that. Woo! Don't get too excited. Have you ever seen a more miserable looking face on a car? Looks apparently designed by Pininfarina. Nice colour match on that door. You've got this swooping... Whoa, that colour match is really bad. You've got that nice swooping waistline up to this really awkward looking rear. It's so bulbous looking and yet isn't actually all that big. It just makes itself look stupidly big. And those tiny little 15-inch shopping trolley wheels don't help. And you kind of know what you're in for right before you even get into it. Look at the key. It's the smallest remote key I've ever seen. Fine on a Matiz, but not something that looks like that. The Daewoo Tacuma came along in the year 2000. Pitching itself against already established and well-respected rivals such as the Citroën Picasso and the Renault Scenic, which had many, many talents above and beyond what this could ever aspire to. Amazingly, the Tacuma survived Daewoo transitioning to Chevrolet in 2005, really. After 5 years, the Tacuma kind of run its course. Everyone had realised how talentless and inadequate it was, and they really should have just pulled the plug then. But Chevrolet kept this thing going for another 4 years until 2009. This particular one is one of the last that you could have bought. This car was registered in February 2009, and you know, when you think about what else was around in 2009, this really is quite an achievement that this thing made it until then. Well, besides having a name like a serious eye condition, the Tacuma has plenty else to offer. Swooping Pininfarina lines, a low down, almost vertical steering wheel, so it feels like you're piloting some kind of submarine. This masterpiece of design. 4 electric windows, instrument cluster that looks like it's from a Daewoo Nexia, engine management light that can't quite decide whether it wants to be on or not. The same horrible switch gear as the Lacetti, with even more horrible scratchy dashboard plastics. The good old aftermarket stereo, and this, you gotta love this. I mean, let's try and inject a bit of character into this, said the designers. We'll put them back to front. Yeah, cold that way. Let's not follow the norm with this car. Let's be different. Driver's got an armrest, you've got a cup holder. Nice big storage tray there. Cup holders, that's always a bonus. And then they've sat back ready to sign off this visual masterpiece of a cockpit and gone, oh, we've forgotten the clock. We haven't put the clock on the dash. Okay. There's a load of Daewoo microwaves in the warehouse downstairs waiting to go to August. Go down, get the clock screen off them, and we'll find somewhere for it. There. Yes. Totally inconspicuous. Right in the passenger's line of sight. Perfect. Practicality wise, the Tacuma isn't too bad. You've got 3 individual folding and removable seats in the back, if I can work out how to do that. Yep, there's a little tab there. There's something else down here. Yep, there we go. So you can remove those, and I don't quite know what that's for, but yep. You've got picnic tables, underfloor storage, However, you do not have the integrated sun blinds that the Renault Scenic would have, or the ISOFIX mountings that pretty much every child carrying people carrier at the time would have needed to have had to have sold. But to make up for lack of Euro NCAP rating, this digital clock will perfectly imprint the time of accident on your passenger's forehead. Oh, the boot's a good size and those seats are easily removed, but this big load lip here kind of ruins any real practicality you get from it. Now, when a Facebook friend of mine saw that I bought a Tacuma, he sent me an article that claimed that the handling and chassis of this thing were helped develop by Porsche. I really hope that's incorrect. It's just wallows. It's just horrible. It's got this woolly steering that's totally vague and void of any kind of feeling. The gear shift is absolutely horrible. And the back end of it actually goes out worryingly easily. You've got no traction control to keep you in check either. There's a lot of wind and tire noise. Wow. Another thing that really hurt the Tacuma was, well, there was no diesel option. There was a choice of two engines. This 1.6 EcoTech, which is well known to be put into every GM car since the beginning of time, and a 2-litre petrol engine which gives you a whopping 15 brake horsepower extra. Neither of them are particularly clean, fuel efficient, or thrilling to drive. Chevrolet actually had the audacity to put a little section of the rev counter that tells you when you're shifting in the green zone, which is a real slap in the face given what I'm about to tell you. If you happen to find a 2-litre petrol one of these that's registered after March 2006 and has an automatic gearbox, the emissions go so high that the road tax for it will cost you £585 for the year, making it officially the least desirable used car you could ever possibly find. I challenge you to find me worse. I really do. Imagine trying to sell one of those. A car that's worth half the value of a year's road tax. Even this 1.6 is 315 quid to tax for the year. It's very much a case of giving quite a lot for getting not much back in return. But with Pininfarina's design input and Porsche apparently had something to do with the handling, surely this thing should have been a bit of a success. I realise I've been bashing this thing quite a bit, but I do have to say one good thing. This kind of period of Chevrolet dull appliance motoring was consisting of tried and tested GM parts. Yeah, they don't set the world on fire, but they've been in everything for decades before they've made it onto this. They've got a good record and very little goes wrong with these things. Now, this older period of compact MPVs is full of cars with many talents, but few of them have such a proven reliability record as this. If you're looking for something cheap, relatively family friendly, and to recommend to a friend or family, it's actually quite hard to beat. You know you're not going to get a phone call from them asking why it won't start, why it won't detect the key card, why it's gone into limp home mode. They're pretty hardy old soldiers, these. So there you have it. A dull and unremarkable, hideous people carrier that will cost significantly more to run than it will to buy. And I've got to try and sell this thing now.